Greetings, Guardians! How you doing? My name is Pwn, and we have for you today the final planet in our voyage, Venus. You gotta go to patrol, you head straight out to the left until you get to Ember Caves. With that being said, some of you guys may have already seen some videos like this. There have been some smaller videos that have been out there that have been with this guide, but it was basically up until now just a cave running guide. A lot of people didn't know that if you farm this route properly and look really high up on the peaks and the cliffs that you can find lots and lots of chests, probably double what you've seen so far. So I spent a little bit of time grinding them together, and I'm going to shoot at every location that has one. There's one on the ground back there, there's one up there on top you can see. So again, yes, they can be in some very awkward areas where you're going to have to jump or glide a few times just to get to. Of course, you're going to find the potential locations inside of every one of these caves, and I think there's about 8, probably roughly around 8 caves in the system. You could jump right up above here too. There's going to be one that's kind of on this plain little platform, and I'm sure there's one or two that I've missed that people are going to notice over time. You see that one right up there conveniently at the top of this cliff right here. And the one thing that I noticed is these things seem to be vicinity based. The more and more that I started finding and hunting for these chests to develop runs for you guys, I started to realize that if there's one that I see a lot, you know, 4 or 5 times in a row, and then I don't see it again for another 10 or 15 minutes, it's probably spawned in another location very close to that one that I have yet to discover. So with that method, with that idea, I started running around looking for these things. And, you know, when similar ones didn't pop up, I know, hey, there's got to be around here somewhere in another area. And with that method, we found lots of others. You can also see one up on that peak. There's about 3 locations on top of that very large area up there that you can see them. There can be one between this little passageway right there, and you're just going to keep moving on out. So this was very challenging because I just had this feeling in my mind, you know, the Mars, the Earth, the Moon run, they all had great runs, you know, 20 potential chest areas, and this one just had 8 caves. I'm like, there's got to be more, so I started hunting, and I found it. There could be one up there behind that rock right there, none inside here for right now. But again, this one is a pretty unique method also, just like all the other ones. There can be lots and lots of public events, but what makes this one a little bit differently, as you can see, there are large clusters of creatures. I find myself getting a couple Ingrams, I guess a go-around, 1 or 2 Ingrams per go-around, simply just because of that. Not to mention it's a heavy area for you to just find Spirit Bloom around the map itself, too. So I find that, I'd say in about a 10-minute period, which is about 3 runs worth, I average about 50 or so... I'd say around 30 to 50 Spirit Bloom, depending on how many chests are actually there. So this is actually an extremely effective farming method. You could probably build up to around 100 within 20 to 30 minutes, just picking them up randomly off the ground like that, or even so much as just going in here and getting 1 to 2 per chest. Right there, just picked up another one. So hopefully you enjoy this guide right here. Now this one gets a little bit tricky, and I'm kind of doing these a little bit back-asswards because just all the caves kind of confuse me a little bit. There's this little hole up here on top of that platform right above that final 3rd door over here. There it is, right there inside the hole. That one took me a while to find. I saw a little dark area. I'm like, that kind of looks like a hole. Let's go spelunking. And I got fortunate enough to find that one there. That was one of the perfect example of one of those ones that I realized one wasn't spawning up on that ridge right above where this hole is right here, and wasn't seeing anything in those caves. And I'm like, nah, there's got to be another location nearby. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down here. There are 2 locations that I've seen so far down here. One right by that little jug right there, and one over here to the left by the larger jug. That one shows up semi-frequently. And another feature, like I said, there's just the massive packs of creatures up here. You're going to fight, you know, 8 to 10 vandals or something like that every time you come up this cliff, and down there below. It's always good to have a nice weapon to take out the captain, too, in case you're maybe doing this run just not only for materials, but also having, you know, killed 10 fallen ultras and majors and stuff like that. One could be on the ground there, one could be back on that cliff that I showed. This one was a little tricky to get to, right above this cave or so. There's one in the cave, awesome, finally back here. But above this cave was one that was a little tricky to get to, and I had some fun with it. Oh, I forgot one down here. And this one I just tend to forget. And as you can see, that little graffiti on the wall, those little white things generally indicate that there's a cave nearby. I found that that's kind of like a marking for every cave here. But there are 2 other locations, 2 final locations. One can be right up top here, right over here. This one was a little hard to see. And a lot of these, again, I think there's one more I'm forgetting. I don't remember where it is exactly. But again, just a little bit of time, you may find an extra spot or 2 that I did not show up in here. After that part is done and you've checked through that, you basically rinse and repeat. You do a big circle around, and you keep pushing on and keep trying to farm some more Spirit Bloom. Thank you guys for watching. I'll leave a playlist down below for all the collective chest runs for you guys that are looking for your materials that you need. If you can, smack the like button. I truly appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on a Destiny video tomorrow.